Here would be in the Wineberry Jungle. You know what the Wineberry Jungle is? That's right, it's a jungle of wineberries. This is where I pick 95% of my berry crop this time of year. You see back in this way, got a little trail going back through here, and we've got sparsely placed cedar trees and other bigger trees, and these low-lying bushes, these be the wineberries. They're awfully prolific, produce a lot of good eating. You just have to get out there and get them. Now, it varies a lot from one time of the season to another. If you come out first couple days of the season, the berries be pick one here, pick one there. But this time of the season, the whole clump is ripe if you haven't picked over them, or most of the clump. Some of them are starting to fall off. So you get a lot more for your effort. But it's down to the wire. They're about to go bad. I'm going to pick all day and see what I get. That be the tasty wineberry. My hypothesis on wineberries, where you find the best ones, is this. Now right here we have a nice big clump of healthy wineberry bushes right at the base of this great big cedar tree. It's got lots of needles and limbs, and then right beside it here you see a clearing, a little bit of an opening right in there, and you would expect there should be a lot of bushes in there, but you don't see it. What you do see is a little dead tree right in there. Let me zoom in on it. That little tree has very little in the way of leaves and very few bushes. Now I assume that there's probably rock right in that area, which has kept things from growing up. So the soil started out poor, whereas here you got this great big tree, and it allowed that tree to grow a little bit better. Not only that, let's say that this is a I don't know, 150-year-old red cedar. You know what it's been doing its whole life? It's been dropping tree needles. And as it drops tree needles, it's mulching and improving the soil. And I feel like you find the best berry bushes underneath some of the best trees. Now the trees can't be too close together and shade everything, but you do want some upper story there. These berry bushes like to be right on the edge of the woods or in sort of small clearings within the woods. So that's my working theory, that you're going to find your best berry bushes under your best trees, your most fertile soil, produce your sweetest berries. But they have to be in the sunlight, of course. As you'll come to find, wineberries aren't just good food for me. They look like they're home to some of God's little creatures. Let me show you. We're at a particularly good little spot in the bushes. Oh, look at those. They need some picking. But as you come on down in, you see that there's special little eggs here, 3 of them, and this tiny little nest gives you proportion by using my hand. When I say tiny, hold on. It's tiny. You can tell by the size of my hand, this would be tiny. I don't know what kind of nest it is, but it just be perched right up in here, constructed, kind of floating right there in midair on the wineberries. Beautiful. Now, wineberries, they clumps come in all shapes and sizes and amount of health. This is a fairly large one. This might be pushing 8 inches from about here to here starts to look like a grape cluster. I'd call this a fairly healthy cluster. A more typical cluster amount would be just this very end amount here, like a little clump. When they start to stretch out and look more like a grape, that's pretty good. Wineberries come in different levels of ripeness. Up here toward the back end, they're a little bit lighter. As you get down this way, they get a little bit darker. You can see this clump over here, mostly toward darker. Now, when you're picking them, they sort of offer a little resistance, and this cap is nice and light yet. That'd be a good thing. That means it's just in the prime of its life. I would say these colors right here, they'd be just prime. Now up in here, it's a little bit light. Those there, they'd be just a little bit under prime, but I would pick all those. Now this one here really doesn't want to come off. It's kind of pink almost by comparison. It's not going to taste as sweet. I'll find you one that is past prime. Now if you look here, they're very likely to fall off just by up there. You can see they're falling off. A couple of them fell off into my hands. This cap here is this one's a little thicker. These caps will actually go all the way to dark when they're really past prime. Hey girl, how you doing? You like berries, don't you? Well, I made it out of the Wineberry Jungle alive. I didn't quite conquer her. She didn't quite conquer me. She's just a little too big to pick all the berries in one day. It was a little bit tough. Mosquitoes came a-buzzing around me, trying to get a little drink of me. Had a little kink in my back. The weight of the berries start to sort of weight you down a little bit, but it felt good. You felt like you accomplished something. Coming out of there with all your sweet berries, I tell you, we really had a good crop of them today. A lot more than you might think. It took me about 6-7 hours. We got unbelievable amount, 19 to 20 quart today in 6 to 7 hours of picking. Now, if that's not close to a record for me in one day, that's, I don't know what it is, but it's a pretty good number. I want you to understand that when I say nature wants to provide for you, she really can provide in a big way. Now, like I said, I picked 19 or 20 of these quarts here today. 19 to 20 quarts was today. I picked this dish pan and a couple quart boxes thrown into this dish pan, plus that when she's working on processing over there. If she really likes to work on processing them. She is a serious processor. She puts them down with the best of them. Don't you, Adri? She likes to pick the dirt out, which is good. She also likes to eat them a lot. You like to eat the berries, Adri? Try a berry. Do you want one? Yeah, is that a good one? If we could just get her to pick all the dirt out, get like little cedar needles in there and dirt. Now, the way I figure this, farming's an awful lot of work. If I see something growing a wild, just out there on its own, might as well pick it. And I might as well pick a lot of it if it's growing good on its own. So, you got something on your finger. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, might as well pick if it's growing wild, just doing good. Now, I have helped the bushes out a little over the years. I took a machete. I had a machete field day. I hacked down a lot of the berries, I hacked down a lot of honeysuckle bushes that were growing around it, kind of crowding out their space. I also went and cut trails through so I could get in and out easier.
You also know I picked from this trail or this trail. You don't get turned around so easily, not knowing what you picked and what you didn't pick. So, an old man once told me, don't ask what you want to grow, ask what grows here. Well, what grows here at this farm would be grass and cedar trees. You can't eat grass or cedar trees. At least I haven't tried it, but I don't think it would work so well. So what are you to do? If you want something fancy, something tasty, what do you do? Well, from what I hear in your world, everybody wants a quick fix. They want to burn calories without eating the right kind of foods. They, the right kind of foods would be this kind. You can't hardly gain weight on these. They want to sprinkle fertilizer dust, little magic dust on the soil, make it grow corn like 10-foot deep topsoil would. Shabam, wham, magic, right? Well, nature don't work that way. You see, nature takes things slow and easy. She does something in a way that it's going to last. It takes time, but you can keep on doing it. Year after year, century after century, and it works. No wham, bam, sparkly shabam powder, ma'am. That's right. Now, we should take a closer look at how nature does work. With nature, like I said, you've got to meet her where she is and take her to where you want her to be. Slowly. Can't beat her into submission. Just not going to work that way. Let's go see how nature works. Take a little look how things work out there. How does Mother Nature work anyhow? Through some little process called succession. What that means is if you have a bare piece of soil, it turns into weeds. The weeds is followed by grass. The grass is replaced by bushes. The bushes are replaced by small trees. The small trees turn into big trees. Then all those lesser things diminish. You have less weeds, you have less grass, and you have a big dominant forest. That's what nature's always trying to get to, the climax, the big forest. So what you see behind me here is we got a little itty bitty walnut tree coming up through these raspberry bushes. And I like both. I like walnuts and I like raspberries. So what these raspberries be doing for the tree, they provide moss, cool shady spot for the tree. They're kind of protected the roots and keeping the moisture in the ground to some extent, and dropping their leaves just like the tree's dropping its leaves. So they be mulching themselves. Eventually these berry bushes won't be able to grow in the shade of this here tree, but what they are doing, this little end of the berry bush going to go out into the field, and it's going to start a new bush. It's going to go out further. So these are kind of the vanguard. They're leading the way for the trees. The lesser thing being replaced by a greater thing. So succession, it's just like babies and how they grow up to be youngins. How youngins grow up to be adults, and adults grow up to be old folk. Can you skip a step, take a baby, wham shabam right over into an adult? No. They got to be teenagers first. You got to go through that difficult period of life. So once they've gone through these stages, you get to something bigger and better. Just like behind me. When I was a youngin', this was a cow pasture with a few cedar trees coming up through. That biggest tree back there, That's a cedar tree. It's been here 40, maybe 50 years, just improving the soil, making it a better place for the smaller tree. The smaller tree be a walnut tree. And now it could spring up in the shadow, in the footprint of this cedar tree and take hold. So you got to follow the stages. You got to start with simple things, grass, go to bushes, go to more complex things like nuts and apples and fruit-bearing things, or higher level. So, bottom line, plant some things, a few different things, see what works, keep doing what works, stop doing what don't work, and see where she goes.
Well, hello! What have you been eating? You're kind of red around the mouth. Berries? Ooh, do you have some for me? No? What kind of berries? Wine berries? You didn't. Bernie didn't take you into the Wineberry Jungle, did he? Oh, he did? Not too far, I hope. What? You were on the edge of it. That Bernie always taking the risk. You take children there. What was he thinking? Many a berry picker has wandered into the Wineberry Jungle. Adults even, hoping to fill their buckets. You want to know what happened to them? So what did he teach you about berry picking? He did. Oh, he taught you about suggestion. Suggestion? Or do you mean succession? Kind of like one thing following another. Oh, that's a good thing in nature and in art. I have some art here. Just happen to have art, kaleidocycles that show movement, one thing following another. Yeah. Well, let me show you those.
So what I like about kaleidocycle, the art that moves. Very fun. Here's another one, very well constructed. Maybe not quite enough contrast between the different colors in the turns, but nice. This one has a very nice contrast. See, yellow, then we go to this green, and then blue, and then dark. Same pattern, different things. Now this one has seen better days, but here it talks about succession. Here you see summertime and the little buds on the trees. Then you turn it and you see tree growing, and then we see fall, the leaves coming down, and then it's winter. Little snowman. So that's the kind of kaleidocycle that you will do. Succession. To make a kaleidocycle, you need this pattern. In your world, you find it on what you call a computer. So you print this off of the computer, and you find this kaleidocycle pattern, and print it off onto heavy paper, cardstock. And that'd be good, yeah. And then one thing you have to know about it is that the green spots, there are 3 pictures. This is half of that one, and you want to draw your picture on the tabby. And the purple, that is the next stage in your succession, orange, and then the pink row. I just scribble colors in here so you can see the rows. So for example, the green row, you might show snow starting to fall down on a landscape. Very small picture, same picture in each one. Then go to the next one, and you show little kids coming out and building a snowman. And then in this one, show snowman, but sun coming out. And then in this one, show a puddle and the carrot nose, the eyes and the gloves and the hat all laying there in the puddle. And people get the idea that we've just watched a snowstorm. I want you to imagine that you have already drawn all of your images on here. You've colored them in with colored pencil. You make it very beautiful. Make this row very contrasty to this row in some way. And then you need a stack of papers, probably about 1/4 inch thick, and you put your pattern on top of the paper. And this is going to provide a little cushion to allow you you need a ruler, you need a lead pencil with the lead kind of retracted or pushed in. And we're going to lay the ruler on each line, each diagonal line, and each vertical line. And what we're going to do is trace over that about 4 times, good bit of pressure. What this is doing is indenting, scoring the paper, meaning it's going to make it easier to fold, because this is heavy paper, cardstock. It's not going to fold unless I score it first. So we do that along each line that you see here. You don't have to do the outline. And now, once you've done that on each line, this is going to allow you to fold carefully one way, right? And then fold it back the opposite way, in on itself. And I like to do that about 4 times also. It really has to be flexible for it to come together as a kaleidocycle. Next, what we want to do is cut out along the outline of this neatly, just following the outer line. And what we need is these little tabbies need to stay on. I like to cut right along the edge like this, and then go back, cut this little V, this little triangle type shape out. Final step, you're going to take Elmer's glue, and you're going to put glue on this X area, this little part with no picture. We've got 3 of those. We're going to start with the first one, and if we feel confident with how that is going, we can do 2, maybe even 3. So put a good portion of that on there, and the fold should bring this around to the far side like this, and you can see that we've got that right like that. Now the next one, we can go ahead, I think I can do that. Put glue there, rub that on, nice portion all over that picture, bring this around, and this will work pretty smoothly as long as you neatly folded and scored everything. I think I can do this last one yet. Little glue on there, rub that around, and fold this under there. Now we've gone the whole way around, right? And it's going to probably take 5 minutes for this to dry, and I'm just going to hold this here like this for 5 minutes. Be on the safe side. Give it plenty of time to dry, don't rush it. Now let's pretend 5 minutes is over, and we're going to put glue on the final little tabs, the insides of these tabs, not the outsides. Smear that glue around, and this piece right here is going to tuck right into that tabbies, and you hold the tabby on. And you could even put a little piece of clear tape here to help with that. Now, with this part of drying, the tabbies should dry. I would give them a good ½ hour to dry before you start spinning it. Again, be on the safe side, don't overdo it. And if all has gone well for you, you will have your finished project that you can cycle through and get a kaleidocycle of beauty.